Hello. Today I want to talk about token gating, which is this idea of using tokens to verify membership or to grant access to certain resources or certain communities. That is not exactly new. A lot of DAOs do this. A lot of NFT communities do this. You need to purchase their token for you to get access into that community or into that DAO. But what is interesting is we can extend this functionality to the context of a website or a web application. So imagine that I've built a site, and you need to purchase my tokens for you to be able to view that site, to access that content, or for you to be able to get access to certain parts of that website. You need to have my token available in your wallet. And that's what I want to show you today, and show you how to also do that using Collab.Land. Is I have this proof of concept available that I want to show you how that works before we go ahead and build our own. So if I click on sign in with Ethereum, it's going to ask me to connect my wallet. So I'll select the main wallet, and then I'll sign the message. And now that my wallet is connected, you see that I get access to this view page where I can see the token gating rules that are available on this website, right? So the first rule states that I need to have this token in my wallet for me to see this content. So the second one states that I need to have this NFT for me to see the content below this one. So basically we have two tokens here, more like we are requiring two tokens here from users. So if you have the membership NFT, you can see any content under the membership column. If you do have the patron NFT, you will see content under the patron column. And if you don't have any of these, you will still see the public content because this is not gated at all. So when I click on check, it's going to check my account and then show me the content because I do have the patron NFT and I do have the membership NFT. And that's why I can see this content, right? So to test that out, I'm going to switch this account to a different one. Let me connect the account to, and then I'm going to disconnect this one. This second account doesn't have any of these tokens, but that's the account that's connected now. So I'm going to log out. And when I log in again, I see that it switched the account. And if I try to check, I shouldn't see any values at all because I don't have any of those tokens in this account. And sure enough, we don't see any gated content. So this is the whole idea of token gating for websites, is you can conditionally grant access to your website or certain parts of your website with respect to your tokens being available on the user's wallet address. But this website was quietly put together by my colleague Agnes. And what I'm going to do is go on this journey with you to build out a brand new website with Next.js and Collab.Land APIs to show you how to implement token gating functionalities all on your own. I'll go back to the desktop and let me create a new Next.js application because I want to use Next.js on the front end to build out this demo. So let's do npx create next app. Let's call it website gating. Now that that is done, I'm going to go into website gating, which is the project I just created, and let's open that up in VS Code. Here we have a brand new Next.js application. Let's do npm run dev so we can see what that looks like. It's running on port 3000, and there we go, we have our Next.js application running. Okay, the first thing I want to do is clean out this file. I don't need any of this, so I'm just going to get rid of all of that. And what I want to do is just put a button here that would allow the user to connect their wallets to this site. So let me do that. And for this button, we're going to have an on-click that will call our connect wallet function. And let's give this a class name of styles.btn. Okay, so now we have the button that calls this function. Let's create that function. So I will do connect wallet. It's going to be an async function. And what I want to do here is basically get the user's wallet address and then save it to local storage. So let me wrap that in a try catch just to be sure that we're checking if the Ethereum object exists on the browser window, which it should if you've got the MetaMask extension installed on your browser. So let's check if window.ethereum, if I can spell that right. And if that is the case, then I want to save that user's wallet address into this address variable. Let's do await window.ethereum, and we're going to do the request method. And here we can now pass in the request method. So let's do the method should be I think it's ETH underscore request accounts. And you can confirm this from the documentation. I'm doing this because I've done it before, so I can memorize some of these methods. Okay, so this would get the user's wallet address and save that into this variable. So after that, the next thing I want to do is save that to local storage. So I will do local storage.set item, and let's save it as address, and that would be the address variable. And let's get the first item. Great. Okay, the next thing we want to do after that is basically use the router to navigate to a different page, similar to what we did before in the other demo that I showed you. So let me import the next router, and that's what I want to do here. I want to do router.push, and I want to push to the view. Maybe let's call it dashboard so that it's fancier. Okay, so I'll save this. With any log, we should get a button that when we click on it, it's going to ask for our wallet address. And when it gets that, it's going to save that to local storage and send us to the dashboard page. So let's try that out. Welcome to Next.js, connect your wallet. We click on that. It's pulling up my MetaMask. And let me connect my wallet. And now I should see that I'm in the dashboard route. Nice. Okay, that's working so far so good. What I want to do is create that dashboard page. And basically here is where we have the content that we want to get, right? But let's start this off with an empty page we'd expect. So let me save that. And sure enough, I see dashboard. Great. Okay. The way I want this to work is when you get into the dashboard page, you would see a welcome message, for instance, that says, welcome, and then shows your wallet address. So let's go ahead and do that. Instead of dashboard, let me say welcome, and then I'll get the wallet address from local storage. So let's do local storage the get item, and I want to get address, and let's do const wallet address. So basically we're getting the wallet address from local storage, and that's what I want to show here. So I want to show the wallet address. Let me make a function to kind of truncate the address so that we're not just showing the whole thing on screen. So let's do and then we will call the address dot length like that. So I believe that would give us the first two letters on the address with this and then the last four. So let's call that method here truncate address and then pass wallet address to it. Yeah, with any luck we should see this. Awesome. All right, good. Just so that we have it a little bit organized, let me put in some class names here. So now that the user is logged in, I want to make it possible for them to log out and just basically clear what is in local storage. So let me have like a nav bar here. And for that, I just want to put a button for them to be able to log out. So I'm just going to copy the other button that they used to log in. Yeah, and I'll put that in the nav and I'll say sign out. And this should then say sign out. And let's create that sign out function. And here, the first thing we want to do is basically remove the item from local storage. So let's do remove item. And we want to remove the address. And when that is done, we want to use the router and go back to the home page. Like that. And let me style it a little bit. So for the class name, we can have nav. Let's save that and see what it looks like. Styles is not defined. Okay. That styles / home module.css, which explains why I'm not getting the styles because I'm just calling them. So I'll do styles.wrapper. And the same here, styles.nav. So if I save that, it should look better. It does. So we have this centered and we've got this nav bar with a button to sign out. Okay, looks like the first part of this demo is done. We are able to sign in with the wallet address, and sure enough, we should be able to sign out. All right, the next thing we want to do is define our token getting rules, right? And what I mean by that is the rules that you're going to send to Collab.Land to check if the user passes those rules. If those rules are granted for them, we have to define that in code because I'm not sure if I've shown you the documentation yet, but the Collab.Land documentation is here. And we have this tutorial on token getting that would show you what the request body is supposed to look like. So this is the rule definition. You talk about the type of the token, the chain ID, the minimum amount of token that is required for that user to get access, the contract address of the token, and the role ID. And I'll show you how to get all of these details very soon. But I want to also show you the documentation on how you can send in your request body. So this is a sample request body. So you need to send the user's wallet address and the rule that you want to get your site with. So at the moment, we have the account. Let's set up the rules. All right, here I want to create a rules array. So let's do const rules. It's going to be an array of objects, and the first one is going to be the chain ID. Actually, let me copy this so that it's easier for me to see. And let me just put that here and I'll comment it out so it's easier to visualize. Okay. So for this, I'll start with the chain ID. I'm going to give default values for this for now. When I'm done, I will get the actual values from OpenSea or wherever your token is hosted. So let's do main token. I will say 1 as well, and contract address. And that should be, let's leave that empty for now. And the next thing we need is the role ID, which will basically specify like what role does this token give them access to. So let's do member. Yeah, we are definitely going to change all of these default values. The next thing I want to specify is the type of the token. So let's say that this is an ERC721 type token. And the last thing is the name. Let's say membership NFT, something like that. Okay, so I think that's it. So let me duplicate this so that we have two roles that we want to check for. And now that I've got this structure in place, the next thing I want to do is basically get the actual values for these roles. So let me go to OpenSea, and you see that I've got a couple of NFTs here, but I want to use the last two. This is the Devs for Revolution NFT for developer DAO, and then there's this billionaire NFT thing that I have. So I'm going to use these two. So first, let me set up the developer DAO one. And if you come to OpenSea, just under your NFT, you can see the details tab. If you click on it, it will give you access to the contract address and all the things that we talked about. So you can also find it right on the URL right here. This is the contract address. So actually, I'll copy this one and let me put that here. The chain ID, you see that this is Ethereum, and Ethereum's chain ID is 1, the same way that Polygon is 137, and a couple of that. I think there's a website where you can see the chains, when you can see blockchains and their chain IDs. Let me see if I can find that for you. I think it's chain list. Yeah, something like this, chainlist.org. So you can see a bunch of different blockchains and their chain IDs. So Ethereum mainnet is 1, which is why I'm going to specify 1 as the chain ID for this. And the minimum amount of this NFT I want them to have to be able to get access is 1. So if you have 1 NFT, you can get access. For the role ID, I'm going to have, let me make it a little bit more obvious. So let's do const dev DAO member should have a membership role. So let's call this a member role. And yeah, let's just say that that's what it is. So okay, let me get rid of this since I've got the other one. So here, instead of specifying member, I want to do dev DAO member. That is the ID for this role. And the type of the token, let's check OpenSea again to be sure. We see that it is an ERC721 token. So that is, we'll just leave the default because that's also correct. This is also like an optional value, so you can get rid of the name entirely if you don't want to have that. Actually, let me just get rid of that. Okay, that's for the developer DAO NFT. Let me set up the second one, which is this billionaire NFT. And I'll click on the details tab, and I see that it's on the Polygon chain. And this is the contract address. So let me get that from the URL again. It's this one. So I'll get this contract address. I'll put it here. The chain ID is 137 because it's on Polygon. And let's check just to confirm. You see that its Polygon is 137. And what else do we need? We need the token type. So it's 1155, not 721. So let's do ERC1155. And for the role ID, I'm going to select the billionaire role, the billionaire holder role. So I'll save this. Okay, so basically the two things we need to call Collab.Land's API is the wallet address and the set of rules that we want to get our site with. And it seems at this point we have both, right? So let me put a button right here that would say view gated content. Now, when this button gets clicked, we're going to make that API call to Collab.Land with the rules and the wallet address, and then see if the rules are granted so that they can see the content. So I'll put an on click here, and let's see get rule status to check if the rules are granted for this user or not, and if they are, we can then display more content for them. So let's create this function. So just below the rules, I can do, and again, that's going to be an async function. And in that function, the first thing we want to do is actually let's have a loading state, because this can take like a second. So let's have, so here we want to set the loading state to true, and then let's also use the try catch block to gate this thing and catch any errors. The first thing I want to do is define a response, and this is going to be, we're going to use fetch to call the Collab.Land API here. And this is the endpoint you want to call. If you look at the documentation again, it's clearly specified here. So we can copy this endpoint and then put that right here. And then we can open up the request object to specify the request headers. And this is something you're going to need to get from Collab.Land. There is an API request form, I think, right on the documentation. Let me check the tutorials. I think it's probably there. Request API access. So if you come to this part of the documentation, I'll link it in the description of the video. You can apply to Collab.Land to get an API key so that you can build whatever you want with the Collab.Land APIs. So I already have the API, so I'm not going to apply to get one. So, but if you're building this for the first time, you want to apply and get your API keys from here. And then I want to get that from my environment variable, because it's your API key and you should not be exposing it. So let's do that. Next, public. Let's call it Collab API key. Yeah, that should do it. So let me copy that name, and I'm going to create that environment variable file and put in the name, and the value is going to, what I'm going to do actually is take this off screen. I've got my API key inside that file, so I should be able to access it like this. And then the next request header I want to pass in here is the content type. So let's do content type. And sure enough, that is going to be application JSON. And I also just want to specify the accept header. So let's make that application JSON as well. And I think this is all the headers we'll need. And actually, I think it's probably better if I make this into a headers object of its own. So let me get all of this and the headers. There is going to be new headers. And then I can specify all of that here, right? And then for the request body, let's do JSON stringify. And the two things we need to pass in here is the account, which will be the value of the wallet address that we specified, that we're getting from local storage, and then the roles that we've defined right here. So these are the two things that we're going to be sending to Collab.Land. Cool. Then let's process the response. So I can do think at this point, I should probably just log this and see if we're getting the result as we should. Let's save that. And yeah, see if there's any error. If there's any errors, I want to log that to the console. Let's log the errors. So I just want to be sure that this API call is working correctly, and if it isn't, we'll find a problem. Otherwise, we should be good to proceed. Also, let me just set the loading stage to false here. Okay. We can come back here. The wallet is already connected, so we come in right here directly, and then we click on, I'm just going to pull up the console. So that, I don't know what that is yelling about, but let's click view gated content. Address is not defined. Okay, that makes sense because I'm passing in address here. And where did I define that? I did not define that anywhere. Oh, wallet address. Okay, that makes sense. So I should pass in wallet address right there. Great. Okay, let's try that again. View gated content. And there is in fact an error. Services unavailable. That is weird. Okay, let me check the endpoint again. api.collab.land, access control, check roles. I think there should be, let me try the keyway. Yeah, because I think this endpoint is not publicly available yet, but it should be in keyway. So let me try that again. Sign out, sign in, view gated content. Okay, now, okay, that's better. So we're getting a 422. Got it. Okay. So we can make this a string and make this a string. This is where TypeScript helps and saves your life. I should start using that. Okay, so let's try that again. Okay, now it looks like we have no errors and we're getting our roles back. So member role is granted and the billionaire role is granted. Fantastic. Okay, I can close up the console now. So we are getting the right responses back in our results. So what I want to do is now check the responses and see that for each of the roles that are granted, I want to display relevant content, right? So let's do that. I'm going to, after set loading to be false, I will do for role of results, result.roles, because that's what it is, right? That's what it is, yes, in the console. Yeah, for role of roles, I want to do something. I want to check, first of all, that the role.id is granted, right? So let's do switch role.id. And the first case we want to check is the DevDAO member, right? And if that case is true, I want to update the state and set the DevDAO member state to true. Do I have that state? Let me see. I do not. Okay, so let's do const is DevDAO member. I think we'll just do the same thing for the billionaire NFT holder. Yeah, so we'll set this to be true when that case is true. So where is that? If that is the case, I want to do set is DevDAO member to be true. Oh, damn it, I'm missing a colon at the end. And then I will break. And I'll treat the next case. Okay, I think that's it. So we'll save that. And then let's create the conditionals. And the next one I want to check is if the is dev.dao member is true, right? If that is the case, I want to show a new paragraph that says you are a dev.dao member, so you can see this content. That's it. And I will repeat the same process for billionaire NFT holder. So let's do is billionaire holder. You hold a billionaire NFT. So you can see this content. And let me just do some inline styling here to differentiate some of this. So let me give this a color of green. And for the dev.dao members, we can give them a color. We can do yellow. Yeah, just so that it's a little different in the eye. We can save that. And do we have that button to view gated content? We do have that button. So let's give this a class name of style.btn, so it looks better in the eye. Cool. So basically, when I click this button, I would be passing these details to Collab.Land, the wallet address of that user, and the rules that we have defined. So Collab.Land will now take those details and check the blockchain to ensure that this NFT and this NFT exists on this wallet address, on this user's wallet address. If it exists, the API will return true for both rules. If one doesn't exist, then it will return false. And here we're checking that for each role, this is granted. So the dev.dao member role is granted and the billionaire holder role is granted for this user. So if it is granted, we will set this to true and set that to true. Otherwise, they would not have access. So we are getting this access, we are getting this content based on you holding this, being this person holding this billionaire NFT. And this one, you need to be a dev.dao member and basically have that NFT to see this content. Damn it. Okay, so I have both content. So my expectation here is that when I click that button, I should see both of these content show up. So let's try that and see if everything works as expected. And sure enough, it is working. So I see that you are a dev.dao member. You can see this content. You hold a billionaire NFT, so you can also see this content. But what happens if I don't have those contents in my wallet, those NFTs? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign out and I'm going to connect a different wallet to this, to my, I'm going to connect a different wallet to this site. So let me select this second account and connect that. Cool. So when I connect my wallet, I should see that I get a different wallet address show up. So if I click on view gated content, I shouldn't see anything. You're a dev.dao member. Okay, I should not be seeing that. Let me see what is going on. Okay, I think I'm not checking for whether the role is granted or not. So before I switch, I just want to, let me cut this out and check if the role is granted. Then I can do the checks. Oh, I think that's it. Let me try that again. I'll log out and log in back and view gated content. I should not see anything, and I don't, right? I shouldn't see anything. So let me try that again. I'll connect the actual wallet that has the NFTs. Let me do this. So now this wallet is connected, C9B7. If I connect my wallet, I see C9B7. View gated content. I should see that message show up. There you go. So this is it. This is how to use the Collab.Land token gating APIs to build some kind of token granted access into your web applications. I'm going to share all the links to the documentation and to all the different resources that we talked about in this video. Let me know what do you think about this. Let me know how useful this will be to you, and I'll be sure to meet you in the next one. Bye.